Bonsoir, bienvenue sur le stream de Papy Gaming. N'oubliez pas de vous abonner, c'est gratuit. Ça mange pas de pain. De mettre la cloche qui vous servira de notif, comme ça vous serez alerté que je suis bien en stream. Sinon, mettre un pouce bleu et un pouce rouge. Voilà. 2 minutes. J'arrête, je vérifie que tout fonctionne bien cette fois et qu'il n'y a pas de bug. Ouais, j'arrive dans 5 minutes. Allume-toi, allume-toi, dépêche-toi. Putain, le dashboard qui met 2 plombs pour s'allumer, quoi. Bon, tu vas te dépêcher, là, le dashboard, ou je te mets mon pied aux fesses? Voilà. Non, ben, j'ai une tête à avoir à jouer au foot. L'autre qui m'envoie un message chargé sur Game Pass FIFA. Non, mais j'ai une tête à jouer à ça, moi. Tu vas voir, moi, je vais te mettre des coups de pied au bout. Là, tu vas voir ce que c'est de jouer au foot. Bon, allez. Déjà, on va regarder quelque chose. Alors, j'avais dit, il manque ça. Là, il manque. Ça, c'est bon. On regardera à la fin tout ça. Ça, on regardera à la fin plus tard. Là, je suis prêt à poser la manette en 2 secondes. Ils vont trop vite, hein, des fois, sur les QTE, les trucs à faire. Ils vont trop vite. Ouais, qu'on est tous Speedy Gonzales ou quoi, là? Bon, c'est une petite vidéo de 20-30 minutes à peu près. C'est pour attraper le bout qui manque tout à l'heure. Puis que les mecs sont pas capables de faire un jeu correct. Pourquoi t'as poussé Ashley, toi? Là, je pose bien la manette. Je la pose, la manette. Elle est posée. Ouais. Je retiens mon souffle en même temps pour éviter de respirer. C'est la vibration qui fait déconner le jeu, quoi. comme par hasard, la porte est fermée et 2 secondes après, la porte est ouverte. Je bouge pas, j'attends. Attendez, que je reprends mon souffle. Attendez 2 secondes, je reprends mon souffle. Ah. Attendez, j'ai les mains qui tremblent. Je dois me concentrer, je peux pas regarder le chat. Ouais, j'ai les mains qui tremblent. Regardez comme je tremble. Hein. J'ai pas envie de me tromper. Hein. Là, ils me disent pas s'il faut courir. Putain, mais les mecs... Oh là là, les mecs, vous savez pas faire des solutions correctes. Hein. Bonsoir, Roby. Stop, discothèque. Ah, j'ai eu un crash tout à l'heure. Alors ça fait que le jeu est complètement craché en pendant que j'allais le finir. Alors ça fait que j'ai loupé tous mes trucs. J'ai pas pu sauver qui que ce soit, je suis obligé de tout refaire. Hein. Oh putain. Ah, ouais. Ah, tu viens de rentrer? Ouais. Là, pour l'instant, je me calme un peu parce que ça fait 5 minutes que je retire mon souffle. Non mais connard. Ah putain, l'autre qui m'énerve avec sa pub. Là. Non mais pas le son, j'en ai pas besoin. Là, je regarde comment faire. Hein. J'ai déjà fini le jeu au moins 6 fois. Hein. Mais à chaque fois, ils meurent tous. Alors là, j'essaie de vraiment tous les sauver, là. Là, je regarde une vidéo comment faire. Ah, ok, tac, ça c'est fait. Parce que là, le chalet, ils abusent sur les QTE. Ils abusent à mort. Je veux bien que tu en mets 3 ou 4, mais pas 10 d'affilée. Moi, j'ai pas les réflexes pour ça, quoi. Ouais. Ah, t'es pas trop KO. Ah, ça, je l'ai fait. Je viens de le faire. Ben, j'arrive, hein, j'en connais une solution. Parce que là, j'ai un doute hein, pour la dernière phrase. Ouais. J'ai un doute pour la dernière. Ouais, le dernier réflexe à faire. C'est pour ça que je bouge pas le jeu pour l'instant. La sauve Chris, c'est fait. Voilà. Ensuite, la petite danse macabre. Voilà, elle casse la lampe. Ça, je l'ai fait. Voilà, là, on a allumé le gaz, ça va faire boum boum dans les étoiles. Est-ce que c'est le trophée le plus difficile du jeu à faire? Faut pas le louper, quoi. Ça, t'es obligé de refaire tout le jeu, quoi. La danse macabre, voilà. Un coupe la tête, je viens de le faire. Un coupe la tête du monstre. Putain, j'ai une pointe au cœur. Non mais c'est pas possible, c'est pas le moment. Ouais, casse la lampe, voilà. Ça, je viens de faire les autres ont réussi à sortir. Voilà. Je regarde la solution. Hein. Je tiens pas à me tromper parce que j'ai pas envie de refaire tout le jeu. Ah non, et hors de question. Moi, je suis épuisé. Hein. Ça fait au moins 6 fois que je le refais. Je le refais pas encore. Hein. À part les trophées qui manquent, je regarderai ça plus tard. Voilà, se cacher. Là, je retiens mon souffle. Là, voilà, il y a Ashley qui sort. Ça, je viens de le voir. L'autre, il me regarde. Tu veux ma photo? Oui, moi, je veux bien ta photo. Hein, t'es toute belle. Mais casse-toi. T'es tout moche. L'autre vient de lui faire coucou. Ensuite, il faut faire quoi? Se cacher ou quoi? Se cacher. Ok. Attends. 2 minutes. Se cacher. Allez, je reprends le truc. Je repose la manette au cas où. Allez, recule, recule, dépêche-toi. Me dis pas que j'ai la vraie fin. Me dis pas que j'ai la vraie fin. J'ai enfin réussi. Oh, me dis-moi que j'ai réussi. Ouais. Voilà, intraçable. Oh, j'ai réussi. Survivre. Voilà. Oh putain, j'ai réussi. Ils survivront. Oh, dis-moi que j'ai le platine. Dis-moi que j'ai le platine. J'ai réussi, les gens. J'ai le platine. Ouh. Oh putain. J'ai fait le trophée le plus difficile au monde.
He saved my life, and I watched him die.
I heard Jessica. I don't know how or why she was down there, but I know I heard her. He held it right up to my face, right here, right in front of my nose, and he could have shot me. He almost shot me, the prick. I mean, you go out with a guy for however long,
ouais. Ah, je suis un vrai taré, oui, hein. J'ai osé le faire. J'ai osé vous faire ce trophée. Ouais. Il m'a fallu 6 fois pour recommencer le jeu pour l'avoir, celui-là. 6 fois.
Carried and taken and...
Ouais.
What did you see?
I don't know. I don't know.
He was out of his fucking mind. He wanted to hurt us. Okay? And I thought he was the one who attacked Jess.
I thought we were close. After his sisters disappeared, he'd come and talk to me. He said I was the only one who understood him.
J'ai mis 11 heures pour faire le jeu. 11 heures. Ah putain, là, j'ai les mains qui tremblent, hein. J'ai tout le corps qui tremble, hein. Et je suis retenu pour pas rager ni que ce soit. Hein.
I said I'm fine.
Why did you hit Josh?
He was acting like a maniac, and I had to stop him.
I thought you said he was tied up.
Yeah, but... Okay, alright. Okay. I know it looks bad. But you don't understand. He was trying to fuck with our heads.
Ouais, totale émotion. Je te jure, regarde. Regarde les mains qui ont mal trompe. Elles se calment pas. Hein.
Sorry? Meat brain, Mr. Muscle Brawn, that incredible sulk.
Is there something we need to know?
Oh, no, nothing important except, you know, how he basically left me to die up on a freaking tumbling tower like a world-class douche nozzle?
Your friend Ashley, she told us she tried to help you. She said she heard you calling out.
Not me. Mike.
What do you remember?
He came for me. He did.
Came for you?
Where is he? Did he make it?
You need to listen to me. I don't care if you believe me or not. It doesn't matter because you will. You need to go down to the mines.
What's in the mines, Sam?
Bon courage à ceux qui vont essayer de le faire. Ah, le mode survivant, je le referai pas 2 fois. Hein. Ah, je le referai pas 2 fois, je veux le dire. Ah, je passe pas, je laisse. Bonsoir Sarah. Ouais. Moi, c'est pas Quête des Nonnes. Ouais, ouais. Bonsoir, Sarah. Je viens de faire le mode survivant. Le mode survivor. J'ai terminé le mode survivor, Sarah. Le trophée le plus difficile à faire au monde. Que personne n'arrive à faire correctement. Je le taré, moi. D'habitude, je fais pas les trucs survivants, cauchemars et trucs comme ça. Mais là, j'avais envie d'essayer pour voir. Je suis un vrai taré. Ouais. Ouais. Bravo. Merci. Ouh. Ah, je suis pas prêt de me calmer les nerfs. Comment je suis retenu de ne pas rager sur le jeu tout le début. Ah, faut réfléchir vite et tout, hein. Faut vite réfléchir. Tout le monde a survécu, tout le monde a survécu, tout le monde est vivant. Ouais. Tout le monde est vivant. Non, j'ai pas ragé sur le jeu, non. Parce qu'il faut retenir sa respiration et il faut poser la manette, ne rien toucher à la manette. Il faut pas toucher à la manette, il faut retenir sa respiration, pas que ça bouge. Faut pas que la manette elle bouge d'un millimètre. Alors imagine quand je vais faire Squarry avec ça, mode survivant. Imagine comment ça va être. Oh putain. Ouais. Bon, à part tout à l'heure, le crash que j'ai eu tout à l'heure sur la première vidéo, là, que j'ai un peu gueulé parce que ça m'a énervé. Ouais. 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 Merci, Obi. Merci. Ah, tout à l'heure, j'étais à 2 doigts de finir le jeu. Le machin qui crache. Ah, tu l'as enculé. Si je reviens plus tard. Ah, je suis claqué, là, je suis claqué. Là. Ah, je crois que dimanche, je vais pas streamer. Hein. Je crois que dimanche, je vais essayer. Bon, j'ai le chapitre 5 de Life is Strange 5 à terminer, là, en platine. Il me reste 10 trophées à faire. Voilà. Et en plus, j'ai quelque chose à vous montrer. J'ai un bonus à vous montrer, les gens. Ne bougez pas, il y a un bonus en plus. Hein. Il y a un bonus qui apparaît à la fin du jeu. Hein. Je vais vous montrer ça après. Si vous voulez connaître la véritable histoire du jeu, ne bougez pas du stream. Il me manque 5 fiches, il faut que je les trouve quelque part. Il faut que je regarde sur internet où les trouver les fiches. Ouais. Il me manque 5 fiches à trouver et j'aurai ça déjà à finir. Je suis à 52% du trophée. 9 trophées faits sur 19. Ouais. 9 trophées faits sur 19. Hein. Ouais. Je suis pas loin du platine. Hein. Ouais. Ah bah ça, les indices, faut que je les trouve. Je suis en train de regarder. Maintenant, je peux me permettre de regarder les trophées. Ouais. Les 3 trophées qu'il fallait faire en or, regardez. Je les ai, regardez. Trophée en or, 1, 2, 3. Les 3 trophées faits en or. C'est les trophées survivants. Putain. Bon allez, on avance. Oh, regarde. Ah, il est en train de se faire un casse-dalle. Alors, on va regarder. Ah, j'ai tout débloqué. Hein. Regardez tous les 2 bonus que j'ai débloqués, quoi. Regardez-moi ça. Bon, là il me manque une fiche ici. Là il me manque une fiche. Ouais. Bon, merci, genre, merci. Ouais. Là il me manque une fiche. Là il me manque une fiche. Là il m'en manque 4. Et là. Alors vous êtes prêts? Êtes-vous prêts à voir le bonus? Êtes-vous prêts à voir le bonus, ces gens? Êtes-vous prêts? J'ai tout débloqué, regardez, hein, j'ai tout. Hein. Ouais. Alors, 1, 2, 3.
Many years ago, my grandfather hunted those possessed by the curse. But there was one that eluded him. The fiercest of all, the Macapichu. It was a terrible thing, and my grandfather could not defeat it. Sometime after, the prospectors came to mine this mountain, until a cave-in trapped the men and woke the curse again. And there were dozens of men with no food, no light. And in that blackness, the hunger came. They were consumed by their abominable cravings and driven mad. Murderers, cannibals, eating human flesh.
Bon appétit,
And
hein.
if you kill this monstrous thing, the spirit is released and swirls the mountain like an evil wind waiting to possess again. You best not kill them, I have tried. You can only trap them, taunt them with fire. And after all these years, after many
J'aurais dû le mettre en
months of
français, ça.
the Macapichu
Bon,
still
on va se le mater en anglais et je le repasse en français après.
beyond my reach. Until one night, a year ago, I was finally able to get him in my sights. But we were not alone in the woods that night. While I was tracking the Macapichu, it was tracking something else. The Macapichu forced your friends over the mountain. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't save your friends, but I could avenge them. I hunted the Wendigo down and I doused it with fire. The Macapichu was dead.
Voilà, attendez, on va le refaire en français cette fois. Attendez, je vais changer la langue et je vais le mettre en français. Attendez. Parce que j'ai pas trop compris ce qu'il a dit, parce que j'ai du mal à suivre les sous-titres. Attendez, voilà. Hop, on va se le remettre en français. Alors, attendez, elle est où ?
Il y a fort longtemps, mon grand-père chassait les créatures maudites. Mais une d'entre elles a pu le berner. La plus féroce, le Macapichu. Une bête abominable. Et mon grand-père n'a pas réussi à la vaincre. Quelque temps plus tard, des prospecteurs sont venus exploiter cette montagne. Jusqu'à ce qu'un éboulement coince les mineurs et réveille la malédiction. Ils étaient des dizaines d'hommes, sans nourriture, sans lumière. Et dans cette obscurité, la faim s'est faite sentir. Ils étaient rongés par cette atroce voracité. Et ils perdirent la tête. Meurtriers, cannibales, mangeant de la chair humaine. Et si on tue cette monstruosité, l'esprit relâché parcourt la montagne comme un vent maléfique à l'affût d'une nouvelle proie. Il est très dur à tuer, j'ai essayé. On peut seulement le piéger, le menacer par le feu. Après toutes ces années, après plusieurs lunes et plusieurs traques, le Macapichu était toujours en liberté. Insaisissable, hors de ma portée. Jusqu'à cette nuit, il y a 1 an, j'avais enfin réussi à la voir dans mon viseur. Mais nous n'étions pas seuls dans la forêt ce soir-là. Alors que je pistais le Macapichu, lui pistait quelque chose.
Ah, c'est une légende, ça. Hein. J'en ai entendu parler de ça.
Vos amis sont tombés de la falaise en essayant de le fuir. Je n'ai rien pu faire. Je ne pouvais pas sauver vos amis, mais je pouvais les venger. J'ai pourchassé le Wendigo et je l'ai complètement brûlé.
Voilà.
Le Macapichu était mort.
Ah, c'est pas mal. Moi, j'ai bien aimé. Hein. Voilà, là, j'ai mieux compris. Là. Alors, voyons là. Ah ouais, il y a des trucs. Ça, j'ai pas le droit de vous les montrer. Voilà, il y a tout là. Ah, il me manque toujours 3, regardez. Voilà. Alors, ça, je sais qu'on peut. Voilà.
I am Hayden Panettiere, and we are here at the studio recording Until Dawn.
My name is Rami Malek, and I play John.
Ah, ça, c'est les acteurs.
My name is Brett Dalton.
My name is Antonella Lentini, and I play Hannah.
My name is Jordan Fisher, and I play the character Matthew, Matt for short.
I'm Nicole Bloom, and I play Emily in the game.
My name is Noah Fleiss.
I am Galadriel Steinman, and I play Ash.
Ah, elles sont belles. Hein.
Until Dawn is the story of 8 teenagers who revisit this cabin in the woods about a year later after a really traumatic experience where I've lost 2 of my sisters. So coming kind of get some closure in that respect.
one of the things that Larry does really well is make these multi-layered characters, and I think for just the story in general, it follows the
Elle faisait les deux rôles.
horror film plot lines, but the characters are so unique in themselves, and I think that's very cool.
Oh, yeah, this was the right thing to do.
What?
You know, get everyone together on the anniversary. I mean, Josh seemed really pumped about us all doing something, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he definitely did. I haven't seen him so excited about something in forever.
Good, good. Sam and I have a few things in common, such as being
Ouais, comme ils sont bien faits. Hein.
lovers of animals. And she's very
Elle, vous la connaissez, elle, l'actrice?
vegan.
C'est super-héros.
She is a
Elle joue de la
pacifist.
pop-up
I'm not
girl,
sure if I'm
immortelle.
gonna go as far as saying that I'm a pacifist, but she's spunky and cool. I know that she, I think, is made fun of a little bit by the rest of them who think that her morals and her beliefs in that area are a little ridiculous and they don't agree with them. But she doesn't care. It doesn't stop her from being herself, and that's something that I hope I have in common with her.
You know, he definitely can be depressed at some times, and a bit of a loner, but he takes some solace in one of his sister's friends, Sam, played by Hayden Panettiere, and invites everybody back to the same house the next year to kind of find some closure.
Jessica she has a whole lot of personality. She is definitely sort of mean girl character that, you know, at school she knows she's pretty, she knows that boys like her, and she's going to use it to her advantage.
He's got a big heart, and you can tell that's very evident, especially how he treats his girlfriend, Emily, and, you know, he's kind of a meathead, but in the best way possible.
She really knows what she wants, and she manages to get...
Ah, elle, c'est Emily, elle. Elle est bien faite, hein. C'est la même actrice dans The Squarey. C'est la même. Je viens de me rendre compte. C'est elle qui fait The Squarey.
Ashley she's a little more serious than some of the other girls. She's definitely very intelligent and thoughtful. She kind of looks at the whole big picture of things. She's not quite as geeky as Chris, but they connect in a lot of ways.
Mike is like big guy on campus. He's
En plus, j'adore cet acteur.
who has charm and has brain, and I don't know.
Surtout qu'en ce moment, je regarde une série avec lui, là,
Gets away with a lot, though.
qui est sur Netflix, qui s'appelle Manifest.
Just kind of wants everyone to be happy. He wants he's a people pleaser. And, that's I can definitely attest to being, you know, that guy. I'm always the friend that wants everybody to be happy and wants everybody to be taken care of, and that's definitely Matt.
But also, like, this character is just so fun. I rarely get to play the bitch, and so it was really fun to do that.
The spirit of things, seriously, what's wrong with you?
I'm just trying to lighten the mood, Em. Don't be like that.
Like what?
The way you're being. You always get like this.
I just think this is just the coolest thing to be a part of, and I just think it's going to take the world by storm. I really do. I think this genre is the wave of the future, and I think that once people see the potential behind it, of getting to interact with the drama that you're witnessing unfold in such a realistic way, that this is how entertainment's going to be from now on.
Hi, this is Lee Robinson, production designer on Until Dawn. The production design for Until Dawn started with the great teen horror script that sets the characters in a Canadian winter mountain lodge, being a contemporary setting with visual clues derived from classic films of that genre, such as Hitchcock's Psycho and Stanley Kubrick's Shining.
On parle bien avec du Shining dedans.
Vital to the production design, as it allows the designer to understand the scale of the environments to be made and the detail that would be seen to create the atmosphere of a horror. This took us into concepts that took these storyboards further, visualizing the world through the color palette, the lighting, tone, and the mood, and developing key locations such as the lodge, the cable car stations, the forests themselves, the wilderness. As you can see, the environments and atmospheres change quite a bit from warm and inviting to cold and threatening. The Millionaire's Mountain Lodge was a key example. It was designed to be made from nearby stone and timber, embedding it into the landscape, with a contrasting and contemporary interior, needing to be opulent and extravagant.
Imagine le temps qu'ils ont passé à faire le jeu.
With ominous and large open spaces, almost cathedral-like in size, and with huge structures to silhouette and dwarf the characters within, providing a labyrinth to explore and wander. Each character was developed with a strong visual identity in mind, with contrasting colours, tones and silhouettes to identify them, each to have their own texture, pattern and shape, so that when they were lined up you could always identify them. The costume designs allowed a range of clothes that would suit them for the cold winter weather, but also have an element of style and individualism, so that the audience could look at them and relate, recognizing themselves within them.
A lady would like to cuddle up with her man by a nice cozy fire bathed in atmospheric mood lighting.
Right. Well, it'll get plenty cozy once we're rubbing up against each other.
Mike. Fire and mood lighting.
Yes.
Working with the lighting artists, we really brought the look and feel of the world together, and this required a thorough understanding of the visual language of teen horror. A key scene was where all the characters emerge out of the rear of the lodge chasing Hannah. A contrast is evident straight away from the exterior wilderness to the warmth of the lodge. The attention to character lighting here is through the bounce and rim lighting, accented colours and composition, from the dark into the light and back again with an emotional effect.
Guys, there's someone outside.
What the hell?
Hannah!
What's going on? Where's my sister going?
It's fine. She just can't take a joke.
It was just a prank, Han.
Ensuite, Ding Dong.
Until Dawn is a game that's full of horror, and one of the things we decided to do early on was to take a scientific approach to how scary it was. So we did experiments on people, and we measured their responses to the game. We've created a test area. It's as close to a home setup as we can get it. We've recruited all the people to play the game, and we've left them to play it on their own.
You're turning the light on.
The only difference is it's rigged with cameras and microphones that relay the data through to the next room where people are watching them play. Bracelet here, we use for biometric testing. It measures the player.
Ah bah moi faut pas le mettre hein. Ma tension va exploser avec ça. Hey mais ça là, je crois que ma tension elle monte au plafond hein.
Detector when you're stressed, you sweat a little, very sensitive, picks up tiny changes if the player is feeling anxious or scared. That data's fed back to a testing team, comes through as a graph.
I'm so sorry.
There's no point testing one or two people, you have to test a lot of people.
Watch your step.
When we have a scare that's consistently has a measurable emotional response,
Regarde ça, c'est moi quand je joue, je suis comme ça moi.
It goes back to the team for improvement. The data doesn't tell us what's wrong with the scare, it only tells us if it's working or not.
Wait, okay, so you hear that too, right?
Josh.
Here we have a chapter relatively early in the game.
Weirdly regular.
Nothing regular about it.
We have to create tension and anxiety in the player so they are ready to receive the scare.
Mais quand je regarde les bonus, je sursaute. Les gens comment réagissent.
Player time to recover, to cool down, to calm down, and then start building the tension again before we do the next scare.
Hey.
What?
Hey.
What the hell?
Ooh, you just got muffins.
an adrenaline high from that game.
There's two things we found. One is we could look at the scares, analyse if our expected scares were working effectively. Were people shrieking and covering their hands, or were they getting an emotional response from it? And being scientific about it means that we strip out people's opinions about whether things are working or not. We've got data, and we look at the data. If it's working, we're happy with it.
Really scary.
Bit scared and wanting to get away.
I actually be maybe a bit scared to play it on my own, but
in a room with the lights on, yeah, with some other people as well, yeah, maybe.
But because I'm a scaredy cat, I would play with someone in the room. And the lights on.
It was one of the scariest games I've played in a long while.
Alors, on a encore combien de trucs à faire? Voilà. Bon, on a regardé le plus gros, hein. On va pas tout regarder parce que sinon c'est chiant, quoi. Par contre, les trucs de... je ne peux pas regarder ça. Celui-là, on va regarder vite fait. On va éviter de regarder les trucs de musique, hein, parce que ça, je sais que j'ai pas le droit.
Hi, my name is Graham Resnick. I'm a filmmaker, writer, director, sound designer, and I started working with Larry Fessenden about 10-15 years ago through my friend.
Ah, je le connais, lui. Je le connais. Il fait des musiques de The Dark Picture aussi. Et aussi The Square, il a fait. Je le connais, lui. Oh, lui, il s'est fait les doigts dans la prise. Hein. Il a trop joué au jeu.
I got a call to audition to write this video game, and I called my pal Graham Resnick because Graham is a gamer, and while I thought I could offer something to the idea of writing this multi-branching story, I knew that I would want Graham's expertise as a lover of gameplay, since I guess games were started. So
and just as a lover.
And as a lover, yes. Which is why there's so many sex jokes in the game.
There was one Italian website that did say the Larry Fessenden and Graham Resnick were two lovers behind.
Come here. Maybe I know how to handle you too.
I am definitely ready to be handled.
So I wanted Graham by my side. Yeah, and we got the gig, and it's been an amazing ride.
Oh my god, she's taking her shirt off.
What? Oh my god. Matt, what are you doing here?
Hannah.
I'm sorry, Hannah. This all got out of hand, but...
So in the game, the basic setup is that a year prior to the game's start, all these kids had gone up to a ski lodge that was owned by the parents of one of the kids, or a couple of the kids, and some of the teenagers played a prank on some of the other teenagers, and a terrible tragedy occurred when a few of them, two sisters, ran out into a blizzard, and were never seen from again. And so now, a year later, this is kind of torn apart, this group of friends. They've gone through some trials and tribulations in the past year. The brother of the two girls has had a lot of psychological issues, and to kind of help him cope and help them all get over it, they all returned to the lodge a year later, back up on the mountain. And the idea is to get over it, but...
the healing does not begin.
Yeah, and these kids are all trying to find themselves. They've been through a trauma, but in general, they're just teenagers trying to figure out who they are. So they're all kind of falling into the patterns, the stereotypes, the characters they see on TV and in the movies.
I think we were very interested in taking genre tropes and kind of making them sort of refresh them.
Hey, did you see that? Dad said it'd just be us this weekend.
We're familiar with how slasher movies work. Most people have seen some horror movies, and we have established notions and preconceptions about the roles of the players in horror movies and how they talk and how they killed and to bring you into the game that way and then subvert a lot of those expectations is kind of our goal.
They're haunted by some incident that happened in their past, which I think you pretty much figure out that that's going to have a a role in their interaction. Yeah, so I think what was fun was we take some sort of stock characters and we try to give them some shape, but at least at the beginning they're recognizable in the way of groups of friends. There's, you know, the jock and the bitchy girl and the rivalries between everyone. And
oh my gosh, and really fun characters too. We just had so much fun living in the minds of these characters through writing the script.
What do you think?
Jesus!
You know, it was fun. I think we were looking to get that kind of banter that you see both in movies, but also that you absolutely have with friends, and sort of those inside jokes. And of course, as writers and as friends ourselves, we sort of developed little tracks, and we try to give the characters that kind of vibe.
Ah, je vais éviter les trucs de musique. Parti 1.
My name is Will Biles, Executive Creative Director of Until Dawn. The first part of getting a believable facial performance in-game is to capture, topographically, the actor's range of emotional expressions as separate versions of the same head. Every tiny nuance gets digitized and merged, effectively creating a model that can recreate every facial movement that the actor makes. Once the topography has been recorded, the actor's performance itself can be captured by using a predetermined set of marker points drawn precisely on the face and a high-def helmet cam, wirelessly linked to capture devices. The camera is the small box where it looks like the microphone should be.
Outro Sam. Mark.
It records in high def the movement of the dots throughout the performance that will drive the expressions captured earlier. Unlike other systems,
ah, c'est fait en réel, hein. C'est pas des fausses images, hein.
Interpretations between performance captured and performance rendered finally in game. The audio is also recorded via two separate lavalier mics attached to the helmet.
Ah, vache.
It takes a while for the actors to acclimatise to carrying around the recording devices and the helmet cams, but very soon the shoot becomes similar to any other effects shoot or a green screen shoot. The actors in these scenes are only recording facial animation, but use cursory body movements for pacing.
Wait, and maybe we should all stick together and find everybody and make sure that we're all okay, so...
1-1, the year before the prank. Take 2, Mark.
Other than the other actors, they have to use their imagination for everything and everywhere that they are supposed to be seeing and feeling.
Idiot. So dumb.
From a hot midday studio in Los Angeles to a freezing midnight mountain in British Columbia.
Partie 2, génération.
Because Until Dawn has a dynamic, ever-changing story, the facial performances and the body performances are recorded separately with different systems. With the body capture, we use reflective bead suits and an infrared camera matrix system that drives the CG bone hierarchies in our character models. These performances cover everything from character locomotion, scene-specific performances and stunt work, most of which was recorded at studios in Pinewood and Shepperton, near London.
Anna.
Ash.
Combining all the elements seamlessly in the final game becomes a formidable editing and logistical task. Every variation, both physical and emotional, must be combined in these multi-edits. Scaffolding props have to stand in for the sets, because the hundreds of infrared cameras have to be able to see all of the reflective beads on the actor.
Vache. Ensuite... Ah, il va m'en manquer 3. Il y a la 3 que je sais pas débloquer, faut que je sache comment les faire.
America's North Woods border region. Within this land of 10,000 lakes and miles of dense timber.
Ah, c'est une vraie ville en plus? Non.
The North Woods is probably one of the last frontiers in America.
There's still a lot
Ah, ça existe vraiment?
in this area that hasn't been set foot by man. Monsters and mysteries exist here because it is remote.
Up in the North Woods, winters are long. In times of biting cold and isolation, a devouring monster is believed to come forth. It's terrorized native people for generations.
Growing up, I was told, like, don't go outside, the Wendigo will get you.
Je crois que c'était une légende, ça, moi. Moi, j'irais pas vivre chez eux, hein.
Is the Wendigo, a monster that can seize hold of a person to carry out its hunger for human flesh.
Many Native Americans fear even talking about this Wendigo, and even the mention of the name will let the Wendigo find out where you are, and it will open you up to be possessed by this Wendigo.
The most famous case of a Wendigo possession took place in 1879. In the deep woods outside of Edmonton, Alberta. Swift Runner, a Cree Indian, was a trapper and a guide. He had left town the previous autumn with his wife, 6 children, and his mother. But when Swift Runner returned in spring, he was alone.
Swift Runner came into a nearby village telling this heartbreaking tale.
I had to watch them starve to death.
Of his family being killed by starvation, and that he was the only survivor.
My whole family gone.
It wasn't hard to understand a family falling victim to a brutal winter.
To even not.
Yet something was suspicious about Swift Runner.
He was a strapping man, and he came into town weighing over 200 pounds. It didn't look like somebody who had just weathered a terrible winter. He wasn't malnourished, didn't look like he was starving. He looked healthier than ever.
After a few nights, it became clear that something was wrong.
He started having night terrors, screaming in his sleep.
I am the Wendigo!
Villagers alerted the police.
Swift Runner actually guided them back to his winter cabin. When they got there, that's when they saw the true horror. Human skulls were scattered around, some of which had been snapped in half and the marrow inside had been drained. They had never seen anything like it. Swift Runner had killed his entire family, shooting them, hitting them with an axe, strangling, and then eating most of their bodies.
Right up until the moment the noose was on his neck, Swift Runner swore the evil spirit of the Wendigo had possessed him and twisted him into a cannibal killer.
When he was on the gallows, Swift Runner himself said, "I am no longer a man."
Ah ouais.
Just move over there. Go on, move. Let me say what I came to say. I'm here to tell you what you're up against being back on this mountain. You should never have returned. I don't know why you did after what happened last.
Bah, il va me manquer 3 bonus, ça, j'ai remarqué. Il m'en manque 3. Faut que je les trouve. Hein.
Your mountain.
The mountain don't belong to me, it's true.
Bon,
But it
ça,
don't
j'ai pas
belong
le droit.
to the Washingtons. This mountain belongs to the Wendigo.
Hi, this is Lee Robinson, production designer at Supermassive Games. Understanding the ancient myths of the Wendigo was key for their development that helped the visual look. Through sketches and concepts, these elements were visualized, such as eyes being milky, almost dead, with loss of lips and
Ah, ça y est, les gens commencent à partir à dormir. Bah, je comprends, il y en a qui sont fatigués à cette heure-ci. De toute façon, dès que c'est fini, je vais arrêter. Hein.
fingers and toenails extending like claws, allowing them to climb effortlessly. We made them look gaunt and weathered, and having ragged remains of clothes they wore, blood-stained and rotten, with patches of hair still remaining. They retained strong skeletal limbs, which enable them to be agile and quick through the environment.
Where are you?
My name is Jamie Gallipo, animation director at Supermassive. The overall direction on the creature was to be very strong, to be extremely fast. We wanted a spider-like movement to the creature. 1 minute scampering to leaping and then crawling, almost instantaneous. And finally, we wanted the creature to have this real, uncontrollable thirst for flesh.
From a sound design perspective, the Wendigo is a real challenge. For the main vocalisations of the Wendigo, we used our own vocalisations, various different animals from the exotic to the farmyard, various plugins and processes to gel these sounds together and keep a human resonance behind that voice, telling the backstory of the Wendigo. During the chase sequences, the anger of the Wendigo is felt by encircling breaths, screams and screeches that essentially chase you as you're being chased by the Wendigo. We would layer them up in a multitude of layers, sometimes 15, 20 sounds playing at the same time, to build up the vocalizations for this fearsome creature which is always in attack mode, hyperactive and chasing you throughout the game.
Voilà. Ah, il m'en manque 3 là. Je les ai pas encore. Hein. Voilà. C'est quoi ça? Ah, ça, j'ai pas le droit de les montrer, ça. Contenu bonus, ça, on a tout vu. Voilà, je le retire, mais je le laisse pas. Voilà. La statue, objet à collectionner. Bon, bah là, il me manque là. La 26 sur 26, il m'en manque un là. La 26 sur 30, là, il m'en manque 4. Là, c'est bon. Voilà. Là, c'est bon. Bon, bah, il reste plus que ça à trouver, puis faire les trophées qui manquent. Voilà, c'est vite fait. Bon, il y en a un que je peux débloquer déjà tout de suite. Les épisodes. Attends, c'est où? Je crois que c'est là-dedans. Bon, on verra ça la prochaine fois. Voilà. Prochaine fois, on reprend tous les épisodes, puis voir les trophées qui manquent. Voilà. Ouais. Voilà. Allez, bonne nuit Obi, bonne nuit Sarah, merci à tous d'être venus. Allez, bon visionnage à ceux qui vont revoir la rediff. À bientôt, on va reprendre la suite. On va faire un trophée qui manquera. Ouais, on verra. Il manque 10 trophées. Ils vont pas être compliqués à faire parce qu'on va tous les faire. Voilà. Alors dormez bien, reposez-vous bien, n'oubliez pas de vous abonner, c'est gratuit, ça mange pas de pain, de mettre la cloche qui servira de notif, comme ça serait comme ça serait averti que je suis bien en stream, mettre un pouce bleu et mettre un commentaire. Alors tout à l'heure, enfin je ne sais pas à quelle heure je vais me réveiller, je ne sais pas du tout, on fera la fin de la vie étrange chapitre 5 avec le platine, voilà. Allez. Dormez bien, reposez-vous, bisous bisous, et je vous dis à plus tard les gens, à tout à l'heure quand je serai réveillé. Un bisou, prenez soin de vous.